Welcome, dear listener, to a quiet journey through the echoes of time. As the day's hurried pace begins to soften and the world outside settles into a gentle hush, we invite you to drift with us. Tonight, we will explore the subtle whispers of history, uncovering tales of ancient societies that, though often overlooked, quietly shaped the very foundations of our human story. This is not a journey of grand battles or dramatic conquests, but rather a peaceful exploration of cultures that thrived through ingenuity, harmony, and a deep connection to their world. Let your mind wander freely, carried by the gentle currents of discovery, as we delve into the serene wonders of civilizations that left their indelible yet often understated marks on the tapestry of existence. The Norte Chico echoes in the Peruvian sands. Our first quiet destination takes us to the arid coastal plains of modern-day Peru, where, long before the more widely celebrated Maya or Inca, a remarkable society known as the Norte Chico civilization began to flourish. Also referred to as the Aksumite civilization, this ancient culture emerged as one of the very oldest known complex societies in the Americas, its story unfolding between approximately 3000 BCE and 1800 BCE. Along the Supe, Patavilca, and Fortaleza rivers, these early communities found the life-sustaining waters necessary to thrive in an otherwise desert environment. Their most prominent site, Caral, stands as a testament to their early sophistication, with evidence dating back to around 2600 BCE. One of the most striking aspects of the Norte Chico people was their monumental architecture. At Caral, for instance, 6 large pyramidal structures rise from the earth, the largest reaching over 60 feet in height. These weren't built with the forced labor often associated with later empires, but rather through an ingenious communal spirit. Imagine communities working together, stuffing stone-filled reed bags against retaining walls layer by layer, to create these impressive structures. This method of construction, along with the presence of sunken plazas and organized urban planning, speaks volumes about a society deeply focused on shared ceremonial activities and collective endeavors. The absence of fortifications around their settlements is particularly telling, suggesting a society that prioritized communal cooperation and religious rituals over conflict or defense. This dedication to building together, without apparent coercion, hints at a deeply integrated and remarkably peaceful social structure, where collective energy was channeled into spiritual or civic expression rather than outward aggression. Daily life in Norte Chico revolved around a clever dual subsistence strategy, blending the bounty of the river valleys with the rich marine resources from the nearby coast. Cotton cultivation was especially significant, not merely as a crop, but as a cornerstone of their economy. This cotton was vital for producing fishing nets, which in turn supported the coastal communities, and for weaving intricate textiles. This created a quiet, interdependent relationship where inland agriculturalists exchanged their cotton for fish from the coastal dwellers. Their skill in constructing irrigation canals was also paramount to their agricultural success, with these life-giving waterways often situated close to their monumental architecture, underscoring their central role in daily life and communal well-being. This mutual reliance, where different ecological zones specialized and exchanged goods, would have fostered strong, peaceful trade networks and reduced internal competition for resources, contributing significantly to societal stability. The need for cotton for fishing nets likely spurred innovations in textile production and agricultural techniques like irrigation, demonstrating how peaceful economic relationships can drive technological and organizational advancements. It paints a picture of a pragmatic and cooperative approach to resource management that prioritized collective prosperity. The Norte Chico civilization holds some fascinating mysteries. Perhaps the most intriguing is the apparent absence of pottery technology, which is quite unusual for a complex society of their age. Instead of pots, they ingeniously used gourds for storage, adapting to the resources readily available to them. This suggests alternative methods for daily tasks, such as roasting food, rather than boiling. Their development of monumental architecture and complex social structures without pottery challenges conventional understandings of early civilizations, which often include pottery as a foundational technology. Their adaptation of gourds and reliance on roasting demonstrates remarkable adaptive ingenuity, suggesting that human societies can achieve complexity and sophistication through diverse, nonlinear paths, finding unique solutions to common challenges. Another intriguing aspect is the quipu, a system of knotted cords, which may have served as an early form of record-keeping or communication, predating its more extensive use by the Inca. This highlights their unique intellectual achievements in developing complex information systems without a traditional written language. The gentle fade of the Norte Chico civilization around 1800 BCE remains a topic of quiet, scholarly debate, free from dramatic narratives of invasion or conquest. Theories suggest environmental changes such as the silting up of rivers, resource depletion, or shifts in trade networks may have contributed to their eventual decline. Poignant carvings found at the site of Vichama, depicting emaciated people and snakes, are thought to be a silent plea for rain, hinting that climate change played a significant role in their eventual abandonment. Despite their quiet departure from the historical stage, their cultural innovations, particularly in communal labor organization and textile production, left a subtle yet profound influence on subsequent Andean civilizations. The Indus Valley, cities of serene order. Our journey now takes us eastward, to the vast expanse of the Indian subcontinent, where one of the world's earliest and most extensive urban cultures quietly thrived. The Indus Valley civilization. Also known as the Harappan civilization, this advanced society flourished along the fertile floodplains of the Indus River, covering parts of modern-day Pakistan and northwest India, and even extending into Afghanistan. Their existence spanned from approximately 3,300 BCE to 1,300 BCE, with their peak urban period occurring between 2,600 and 1,900 BCE. The marvel of their urban planning is truly remarkable. Cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro were laid out with astonishing precision, featuring grid-like patterns with streets running precisely north-south and east-west. Even more impressive were their sophisticated drainage and sanitation systems, which included complex networks of cover drains, sewers, and manholes that efficiently managed waste and prevented flooding. This level of public infrastructure points to a remarkable emphasis on hygiene and public health, suggesting that the well-being of the entire community was a high priority. The Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro, a large public water tank, stands as a significant architectural accomplishment, likely used for religious or ritualistic purposes, hinting at the importance of communal rituals in their daily lives. The widespread use of standardized baked bricks for houses across their vast civilization further demonstrates a consistent adherence to high construction standards. Such uniform and complex urban infrastructure required a strong, organized municipal government or a powerful collective agreement on public welfare. This suggests a society that valued order, collective health, and possibly a more egalitarian or communally focused social structure, where governance prioritized the smooth functioning and cleanliness of the urban environment for all its inhabitants. Daily life in the Indus Valley was rooted in a thriving agricultural economy, deeply reliant on the seasonal monsoon rains and sophisticated river irrigation systems. They cultivated a variety of crops, including wheat, barley, peas, and cotton, creating a surplus that supported their urban centers. Technologically, they were remarkably advanced, particularly in metallurgy, working skillfully with copper, bronze, lead, and tin. Their crafts were equally sophisticated, producing high-quality pottery, intricate jewelry, and unique figurines. Perhaps their most iconic creations were the steatite seals, intricately carved with animal figures like elephants and tigers, alongside an undeciphered pictographic script. These seals were used for identifying property and stamping trade goods, serving as quiet attestations to their organized commerce. The Indus Valley civilization is renowned for its extensive and notably peaceful trade networks, which reached far beyond their borders to Mesopotamia, Central Asia, and the Persian Gulf. The discovery of Indus Valley seals in distant regions is a silent testament to the vast reach of their commerce. This trade was facilitated by the presence of standardized weights and measures, crucial for ensuring fair and efficient transactions across their vast routes. The combination of vast trade networks and a seemingly peaceful society suggests that economic exchange was a primary mode of interaction, both internally and externally, rather than military expansion. The standardization of weights and measures, along with the use of seals for authenticity, indicates a highly organized, trustworthy, and sophisticated economic system. This level of economic integration would have fostered internal cohesion and external diplomatic relations, reducing the impetus for conflict. It implies that their prosperity and influence were built on a foundation of peaceful commerce and meticulous organization, making trade not just an economic activity but a cultural glue. Despite their remarkable achievements, the Indus Valley civilization holds an enduring mystery, their undeciphered script. Despite numerous attempts, the meaning of their pictographic writing remains elusive, preventing a full understanding of their institutions, beliefs, and daily life. The theories surrounding their mysterious decline around 1800 BCE are also gentle, devoid of dramatic or violent narratives. Possible causes include subtle climate change, such as shifts in monsoon patterns, tectonic activity leading to changes in river courses, or a gradual abandonment of urban centers due to resource depletion. Archaeological evidence suggests a gradual societal shift, rather than a sudden collapse, with trade with Mesopotamia appearing to cease and drainage systems being built over or blocked as the cities slowly faded. The Olmec, gentle giants of Mesoamerica. Our journey now takes us across the ocean to the tropical lowlands along the Gulf Coast of Mexico, where the Olmec, the first major civilization in Mexico, quietly laid the groundwork for future Mesoamerican cultures. Flourishing in what are now the Mexican states of Tabasco and Veracruz, their influence spanned from approximately 1600 BCE to 350 BCE. Their name, Olmec, an Aztec word meaning rubber people, offers a subtle hint at their ingenuity. They were likely the first to figure out how to convert the latex of rubber trees into a usable, shapeable material. The most striking and enduring legacy of the Olmec is their monumental art, the colossal stone heads. Carved from volcanic basalt, these immense sculptures, some weighing as much as 20 tons, each display unique facial features, leading scholars to believe they are portraits of actual rulers. Imagine the incredible effort involved in quarrying these massive stones and transporting them, often over long distances, to their final resting places. Intriguingly, these colossal heads were sometimes buried in a ritual act of memory, suggesting a profound reverence for their leaders or ancestors. The creation of such monumental personalized art, coupled with the act of ritually burying them, suggests a profound cultural significance beyond mere public display. It indicates a society with a strong, perhaps even sacred, connection to its leadership, where the physical representation of power was deeply intertwined with spiritual or commemorative practices. This implies that leadership in Olmec society was not solely based on military might, but also on a revered status, possibly linked to ancestral veneration or divine connection. Their other artistic expressions, particularly in jade and ceramic sculpture, also left a quiet, lasting influence on later cultures. While urban centers like San Lorenzo and La Venta served primarily ceremonial and elite functions, the quiet rhythms of daily life for most Olmec people unfolded in small villages. Individual homes often featured simple lean-tos and storage pits for root vegetables, alongside small gardens where medicinal herbs and crops like sunflowers might have grown. Agriculture was central, with fields cleared using slash and burn techniques to cultivate staple crops such as maize, beans, squash, manioc, sweet potatoes, and cotton. The Olmec's influence spread subtly but powerfully through extensive interregional trade routes across Mesoamerica. They exchanged goods like precious jade, obsidian, rubber, and pottery, quietly disseminating their cultural ideas far beyond their heartland. Olmec artifacts have been found across Mesoamerica, reaching as far south as present-day Nicaragua, with objects featuring their distinct imagery discovered hundreds of kilometers from their core territory. This pattern of widespread artifact discovery, linked to extensive trade, strongly suggests that the Olmec's influence was primarily cultural and economic, rather than military or imperialistic. Their impact wasn't achieved through conquest, but through the peaceful exchange of goods and ideas. The desirability of Olmec crafts and imagery indicates a cultural prestige that led other societies to adopt their aesthetic and possibly religious concepts. This highlights trade as a powerful, non-violent mechanism for cultural diffusion, allowing a civilization to leave a lasting, subtle mark on subsequent cultures across a vast geographical area. Spirituality played a central role in Olmec life. They codified their gods and religious practices using symbols, suggesting an organized religion with a priesthood. Their unique animal deities are particularly captivating, especially the enigmatic Were jaguar, a cross between a human and a jaguar, which may have been their supreme deity. Other significant figures included the sky dragon and the feathered snake god, whose forms and significance quietly resonated and reappeared in later Mesoamerican religions, such as the Mayas' Kukulkan and the Aztecs' Quetzalcoatl. The presence of monumental ceremonial complexes, including pyramids and sunken plazas, served as sacred spaces for their rituals and spiritual practices. The explicit passing on of these animal gods and the reappearance of figures like the sky dragon and feathered snake god in later religions demonstrate that the Olmec's spiritual beliefs were not merely transient cultural phenomena. Instead, they laid profound foundational cosmological and theological concepts that were adopted and adapted by subsequent major civilizations in Mesoamerica. This quiet persistence of these spiritual ideas across centuries without overt imposition speaks to the intellectual and spiritual depth of the Olmec, shaping the fundamental sacred landscape of a vast region. The Olmec civilization's decline, occurring between 400 and 350 BCE, is attributed primarily to environmental changes, specifically the silting up of rivers, which gradually made their villages unlivable. This provides a gentle, non-violent explanation for their fade from prominence, allowing their enduring cultural features, from monumental sacred complexes and ball games to the drinking of chocolate and their unique animal gods, to be passed on as a quiet mother culture to those who followed. The Kingdom of Aksum, crossroads of ancient wonders. Our final destination carries us to the northern edge of the highland zone of the Red Sea coast, just above the Horn of Africa, where the powerful Kingdom of Aksum, also spelled Aksum, emerged as a significant trading nation. Its story began in the 1st century CE, reaching its zenith from the 3rd to 6th century CE, and continuing as a smaller political entity into the 8th or 9th century CE. This kingdom's territory encompassed parts of modern-day Ethiopia, Eritrea, Djibouti, Somalia, and even extended its influence across the Red Sea into Yemen. So prominent was Aksum that the Persian prophet Mani regarded it as one of the 4 greatest powers of his time, alongside Rome, Persia, and China, a quiet recognition of its global standing and influence. Aksum's achievements were truly remarkable. They were the first sub-Saharan African state to mint its own coinage, beginning in the 3rd century CE. These coins, struck in gold, silver, and bronze, featured Greek inscriptions and, significantly from the reign of King Ezana, the Christian cross. This sophisticated economic practice was a clear sign of their control over extensive trade networks. Equally impressive was the development of their own unique writing system, Ge'ez, or Ethiopic. Evolving from an Arabian script, Ge'ez is still in use in Ethiopia today, particularly for religious texts, demonstrating Aksum's intellectual independence and enduring cultural legacy. A pivotal moment in Aksumite history was the peaceful adoption of Christianity as the official state religion around 350 CE under King Ezana. This decision was not merely a spiritual shift, but a strategic integration into the broader geopolitical and economic sphere of the Roman Empire, which had adopted Christianity earlier. By aligning religiously with a major trading partner, Aksum likely enhanced its commercial ties and diplomatic standing. The fact that they were the first state ever to use the image of the cross on its coins further underscores how deeply and deliberately this new faith was integrated into their state identity and economy. This highlights a sophisticated form of statecraft where cultural and religious adoption served to strengthen a nation's position in a peaceful, interconnected world, leading to a profound and lasting cultural transformation without the violence often associated with religious conversions. This conversion led to the establishment of the present-day Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, a living testament to Aksum's enduring spiritual impact. Daily life in Aksum was rooted in agrarian rhythms and extensive cattle herding, sustained by dependable summer monsoon rains and the vast grasslands of the Ethiopian plateau. They cultivated a variety of grains, including wheat, barley, millet, and teff. The quiet grandeur of their elite was reflected in their 2- or 3-story residences. Their most visible architectural legacy includes the construction of monumental stelae, or obelisks, which served as towering grave markers for emperors and nobles. These immense stone pillars, some among the largest monoliths transported in antiquity, were often carved to mimic multi-storied palaces, reflecting their architectural prowess and a deep reverence for their leaders.